Here's Samson, the strongest man the world has ever seen. Yet he's been tortured, he's blinded, and he's humbled. And he's entering into the temple for the last time.
The tale of Samson and Delilah is a pivotal chapter in the Bible, altering the narrative trajectory thereafter. Samson's extraordinary strength, derived from his woolly hair and a divine covenant, defined his character. Despite adhering to strict principles such as abstinence from alcohol, his involvement with Delilah introduced a chaotic turn of events. Despite his physical might, Samson's vulnerabilities, which Delilah exploited to deceive him. This narrative poses questions about trust and betrayal. Let's see how Samson's intense clash with the Philistines rewrote biblical history. Samson's struggle against Philistine rule. From his early years, Samson lived as a Nazirite, following very strict rules. He never drank alcohol and never cut his hair to keep the holiness of his promise intact. His life was marked by a series of intense relationships, brief flings with various women, and most notably, his complex relationship with Delilah. This relationship in particular shows how complicated connections between people can be. Although he was immensely strong, Samson also struggled with his own inner weaknesses, which showed that under his strong exterior, he was also deeply vulnerable. His magnetic charm allowed him to perform incredible feats, yet he often wrestled with inner conflicts that showed his more fragile side. Samson was born to Manoah, belonging to the tribe of Dan, in a town near the border of Judah called Zorah, which was close to a place known as Beth Shemesh, meaning House of the Sun. His birth, which an angel announced during a time when Israel suffered under the rule of the Philistines, marked him as someone destined to possess supernatural strength and free his people from oppression. From his birth, Samson was set apart as a Nazirite, dedicated to God's service. The instructions from the angel to his mother included staying away from wine and not cutting his hair, to show his lifelong commitment to God, especially during tough times. Samson's life story began to unfold with his marriage to a Philistine woman from Timnath. This marriage, although it seemed unimportant, was actually part of a larger divine plan to start confronting the dominance of the Philistines. In the grand narrative of the Bible, Samson takes on several roles. He is a judge, a Nazirite, and a vessel for God's power. As a judge, his authority reached up to the borders near Philistine lands, illustrating the limits of his influence in the face of external threats. Despite these geographical and political limits, Samson stood out as a symbol of divine intervention, chosen from birth to help free Israel from Philistine control. His very life was a demonstration of divine foresight, his actions driven by a divine mission to fulfill a prophecy. More than just a tale of physical strength, Samson's story is about fighting against tyranny and oppression. It acts as a warning, highlighting the complexity of human nature and the consequences of unbridled desires. In his search for personal satisfaction, Samson unwittingly played a role in a larger cosmic battle, with his decisions affecting the destiny of entire nations. His relationship with a Philistine woman goes beyond simple love, evolving into a strategic part of a divine strategy, setting the stage for a story about freedom and salvation. The cautionary tale of Samson and Delilah continues to resonate through time, reflecting universal truths about the human condition. It serves as a powerful reminder of the dangers in relationships, where love can blind and trust can be broken. Exploring their story reveals timeless lessons that go beyond the ancient past. It encourages us to be cautious in matters of the heart, warning us against falling for deceptive or harmful individuals. The story emphasizes the significant impact relationships can have on our lives, advising us to be careful to avoid those who might lead us away from our paths. Despite his great strength, Samson's personal flaws and vulnerabilities add layers to his character, making him relatable to audiences throughout time. His conflicts with the Philistines highlight his unyielding spirit, with his victories symbolizing overcoming hardships. At the heart of Samson's story is his tragic relationship with Delilah, whose beauty and cunning trap him in a web of betrayal. Her collaboration with the Philistine leaders reveals his weak spots, leading to his eventual downfall. In the ongoing struggle between the Israelites and the Philistines, Samson's love for Delilah becomes a critical turning point. Driven by money and pressured by Philistine rulers, Delilah relentlessly seeks the secret to Samson's strength. Despite his efforts to mislead her, Delilah persists, using her charm, persuasion, and manipulation to uncover the truth. Samson's weakness is exposed as he finally shares his secret with her, not realizing the impact it would have. In a moment of weakness, Samson discloses the source of his strength, his uncut hair, a symbol of his vow to God. Without realizing the implications, this confession leads to his betrayal and downfall. Blind and imprisoned by the Philistines, Samson suffers greatly, but his hair begins to grow back, symbolizing his resilience and eventual redemption. In his final act, he destroys the pillars of a Philistine temple, sacrificing himself to defeat his enemies and inspire his people. Samson's legacy continues as a beacon of hope and freedom, his story serving as an eternal reminder of human weakness and the enduring power of redemption. His narrative encourages us to face our shortcomings, protect our strengths, and seek redemption even in difficult times. Let's explore ancient texts and meet strange beings like the Nephilim. They're mysterious giants from legends, and we're on a quest to uncover their secrets, following ancient giants across history. In stories from the Bible, the Nephilim, mentioned in Genesis 6:1-4, have intrigued many with their mysterious presence, often portrayed as towering figures or legendary warriors from ancient times. These mysterious beings are said to be the offspring of an unusual union between the sons of God and the daughters of men, a connection that leans toward the fantastical. The term Nephilim itself comes from Hebrew and means fallen ones or giants. It suggests either their enormous size or their supposed descent from heavenly realms, sparking curiosity and speculation. There are different ideas about who these mysterious sons of God were. One idea is that they were celestial beings, maybe angels, who came down to earth and mixed with mortal women, resulting in offspring with extraordinary lineage. This idea is supported by ancient texts, like the Book of Enoch, which details this celestial mixing, strongly linking the Nephilim with these heavenly beings. Others think the sons of God were actually the righteous descendants of Seth, Adam's son, who supposedly married the morally compromised descendants of Cain. According to this view, the term sons of God represents those following righteous paths, and their marriages with Cain's descendants led to a decline in morals and spirituality. References to the Nephilim go beyond Genesis, as seen in Numbers 13:33, where they are described as powerful giants who made Israelite spies feel as tiny as grasshoppers. This association with giants has led to speculation about possible connections between the Nephilim and legendary giant figures or warriors from various ancient cultures, suggesting a common mythological theme across civilizations. The phrase, "and also afterward," found in Genesis 6:4, suggests that the Nephilim existed both before and after the Great Flood. This suggests a significant role for these mysterious beings in ancient myths and legends, hinting at the possibility of their survival beyond the floodwaters, either through Noah's descendants or as a general term for other mighty individuals encountered by the Israelites later on, like the Anakim. Beyond the biblical stories, scholars and researchers have explored various interpretations and theories about the Nephilim, trying to understand their mysterious nature. Some scholars see the Nephilim as symbols of societal or moral decay rather than real beings, viewing them as metaphors for the consequences of human pride and divine judgment. Others look into ancient Near Eastern mythology and folklore, finding similarities between the Nephilim and similar figures from Mesopotamian, Canaanite, and other regional mythologies. These studies help us understand potential cultural influences and exchanges that might have shaped the biblical stories about the Nephilim. Archaeological discoveries and analyses of ancient texts also contribute to our understanding of the Nephilim, giving us insights into the cultural and historical contexts of these stories. While there's no concrete evidence of the Nephilim's existence, ongoing research continues to enrich our knowledge of these ancient mysteries. In popular culture, the Nephilim have inspired countless works of literature, art, and film, capturing the imagination of storytellers. Their larger-than-life stature and mysterious origins make them compelling figures in mythology and fantasy, where they often appear as powerful enemies or tragic heroes. In the biblical narrative, the Nephilim, mentioned in Genesis 6:1-4, have long fascinated curious minds, often evoking images of towering figures or mythical warriors from ancient times. These mysterious beings are said to be the offspring of a strange union between the sons of God and the daughters of men, a pairing that delves into the realm of fantasy. The term Nephilim itself, stemming from Hebrew, suggests fallen ones or giants, hinting at either their immense stature or their supposed descent from heavenly realms, an ambiguity that fuels speculation. Various interpretations exist regarding the identity of these elusive sons of God. One dominant theory suggests they were celestial beings, perhaps angels, who descended to earth and mingled with mortal women, giving rise to offspring of exceptional lineage. This theory finds support in apocryphal texts like the Book of Enoch, which explores the intricacies of this celestial interaction, firmly associating the Nephilim with these celestial beings. Opposing views propose a more earthly origin for the sons of God, identifying them as the righteous descendants of Seth, the son of Adam, who allegedly intermarried with the morally compromised descendants of Cain. According to this interpretation, the term sons of God symbolizes those adhering to virtuous paths, and their unions with Cain's descendants led to a decline in morality and spirituality. References to the Nephilim extend beyond the pages of Genesis, as evidenced in Numbers 13:33, where they are depicted as formidable giants who induced fear in Israelite scouts, making them feel as insignificant as grasshoppers. This association with giants has spurred speculation about potential links between the Nephilim and legendary giant figures or warriors from diverse ancient cultures, suggesting a shared mythological motif across civilizations. The enigmatic phrase, "and also afterward," present in Genesis 6:4, implies the enduring presence of the Nephilim, both preceding and following the catastrophic flood recounted in biblical lore. This temporal continuity suggests a significant role for these mysterious beings in ancient myths and legends, hinting at the possibility of their survival beyond the floodwaters, whether through the descendants of Noah or as a general term for other formidable individuals encountered by the Israelites later on, such as the Anakim. Beyond the biblical accounts, scholars and researchers have explored various interpretations and theories concerning the Nephilim, aiming to unravel their mysterious nature. Some scholars interpret the Nephilim as symbolic representations of societal or moral decay rather than literal beings, viewing them as metaphors for the consequences of human arrogance and divine judgment. Others delve into ancient Near Eastern mythology and folklore, drawing parallels between the Nephilim and similar figures found in Mesopotamian, Canaanite, and other regional mythologies. These comparative studies shed light on potential cultural influences and cross-cultural exchanges that may have shaped the biblical narratives surrounding the Nephilim. Archaeological discoveries and textual analyses also contribute to our understanding of the Nephilim, providing insights into the cultural and historical contexts in which these tales emerged. While tangible evidence of the Nephilim's existence remains elusive, ongoing research and scholarly inquiry continue to enrich our understanding of these ancient mysteries. In popular culture, the Nephilim have captured the imagination of storytellers, inspiring countless works of literature, art, and film. Their larger-than-life stature and ambiguous origins make them compelling figures in the realm of mythology and fantasy, where they often appear as formidable adversaries or tragic heroes. In the biblical narrative, the Nephilim, alluded to in Genesis 6:1-4, have long tantalized curious minds, often conjuring images of colossal figures or mythical warriors from the mists of antiquity. These enigmatic beings are purportedly the progeny of a peculiar union between the sons of God and the daughters of men, a coupling that veers into the realm of the fantastical. The term Nephilim itself, derived from Hebrew, carries connotations of fallen ones or giants, hinting at either their towering stature or their purported descent from celestial realms, a tantalizing ambiguity that fuels speculation. Various interpretations abound regarding the identity of these elusive sons of God. One prevailing conjecture posits them as celestial beings, perhaps angels, who descended to earth and intermingled with mortal women, spawning offspring of extraordinary lineage. This notion finds support in apocryphal texts like the Book of Enoch, which delve into the intricacies of this celestial dalliance, firmly linking the Nephilim with these celestial entities. Contrary voices suggest a more terrestrial origin for the sons of God, identifying them as the righteous descendants of Seth, son of Adam, who allegedly intermarried with the morally compromised lineage of Cain. According to this narrative, the term sons of God serves as a metaphor for those adhering to virtuous paths, their unions with the descendants of Cain precipitating a moral and spiritual decline. References to the Nephilim, those mysterious figures of old, reach far beyond the pages of Genesis, stretching into other biblical texts like Numbers 13:33. In this passage, the Nephilim are portrayed as mighty giants who instill dread in the hearts of Israelite scouts, causing them to feel as small as grasshoppers by comparison. This vivid depiction underscores the immense size and power attributed to these enigmatic beings, leaving an indelible impression on those who encountered them. The association between the Nephilim and colossal beings has sparked considerable speculation among scholars and enthusiasts alike. Many have sought to uncover potential connections between the Nephilim and legendary giants or warriors from various ancient cultures, positing the existence of a shared mythological motif that transcends geographical and cultural boundaries. One intriguing parallel can be found in the ancient Near Eastern myth of the Apkallu, semi-divine beings depicted as wise sages or protective spirits with extraordinary abilities. These Apkallu figures bear striking similarities to the Nephilim, leading some scholars to propose a shared cultural heritage or common mythological archetype. In Greek mythology, the Titans are often portrayed as powerful giants who waged war against the gods, echoing the epic conflicts attributed to the Nephilim in biblical lore. The parallels between these mythological figures suggest the presence of universal themes and motifs that resonate across different cultures and time periods. Similarly, the Gigantes of Greek mythology are depicted as monstrous giants who challenge the authority of the gods, drawing comparisons to the rebellious nature attributed to the Nephilim in biblical narratives. This shared motif of divine conflict and cosmic rebellion underscores the enduring fascination with larger-than-life figures who defy conventional boundaries. In Norse mythology, the Jotnar, or frost giants, are portrayed as formidable adversaries of the gods, embodying themes of chaos and primordial forces. The parallels between these mythological giants and the Nephilim further illustrate the cross-cultural appeal of stories featuring towering figures of myth and legend. Across diverse cultures and mythologies, the motif of giant beings or divine warriors transcends geographical and temporal boundaries, reflecting humanity's enduring fascination with themes of power, conflict, and the supernatural. Whether depicted as guardians of wisdom, agents of chaos, or adversaries of the divine, These larger-than-life figures continue to captivate imaginations and inspire awe. The cryptic phrase, "and also afterward," nestled within the verses of Genesis 6:4, hints at an intriguing aspect of the Nephilim saga. This enigmatic expression suggests that these mysterious beings were not only present before the Great Flood, but also endured beyond this cataclysmic event, persisting in the annals of ancient lore. This temporal continuity underscores the enduring presence of the Nephilim in the collective imagination, both preceding and succeeding the deluge recounted in biblical accounts. The implications of this temporal continuity are profound, hinting at the enduring significance of the Nephilim in the myths and legends of antiquity. Their persistent presence throughout different epochs suggests that they played a substantial role in shaping the cultural and religious narratives of ancient civilizations, leaving an indelible mark on the collective consciousness of humanity. One possible interpretation of this temporal continuity is that the Nephilim survived the flood through the lineage of Noah's descendants. According to this view, some of the Nephilim may have managed to evade divine judgment by taking refuge on Noah's Ark, ensuring their survival into the post-Diluvian world. Another interpretation posits that the phrase, "and also afterward," serves as a generic label for other formidable individuals encountered by the Israelites in later epochs, such as the Anakim. These mighty warriors, often depicted as giants in biblical texts, bear similarities to the Nephilim, and may have been conflated with them in ancient accounts. The notion of the Nephilim enduring beyond the flood raises intriguing questions about their nature and origin. Were they truly supernatural beings, as some interpretations suggest, or were they simply powerful individuals whose exploits became the stuff of legend over time? Echoes of the Nephilim can be found in various cultural narratives and religious traditions of ancient Near Eastern mythology. Similar figures, often depicted as demigods or divine heroes, appear in Mesopotamian, Egyptian, and Greek mythologies, suggesting a common motif of larger-than-life beings with extraordinary powers. The enduring fascination with the Nephilim and their enigmatic legacy speaks to the timeless appeal of myth and legend in human culture. Whether viewed as symbols of divine intervention, agents of cosmic chaos, or legendary heroes of old, these mysterious beings continue to captivate the imagination and inspire speculation. In popular culture, the Nephilim have become iconic figures in literature, film, and art, where they are often portrayed as formidable adversaries or tragic heroes. Their enduring presence in contemporary media reflects the enduring power of ancient myths to resonate with modern audiences. In the next chapter, we'll learn more about the Watchers and the secrets in the Book of Enoch. Foreseeing the violent future of Israel. Unlike the widely embraced texts of mainstream Jewish and Christian traditions, it finds its sanctuary within the hallowed scriptures of the Ethiopian Church. This uncommon abode speaks volumes about its contentious genesis and enigmatic origins. Enoch, steeped in tradition as a figure who communed intimately with the divine, transcended mortality, ascending directly to heaven without tasting death. The attributed book contains many different stories and writings, spanning apocalyptic visions, dream interpretation, and teachings on cosmic enigmas. Its contents are a kaleidoscope of ancient wisdom and spiritual insights. The most captivating facet of the Book of Enoch lies in its portrayal of celestial beings, particularly angels. It recounts the tale of fallen angels who descended to earth, enticed by mortal companionship, leading to unions and offspring. These beings, dubbed the Watchers, wielded significant influence, shaping human affairs and facing divine retribution. Despite its exclusion from mainstream religious canons, the Book of Enoch has left an indelible mark on various traditions. Its thematic motifs and imagery have permeated subsequent Jewish and Christian literature, especially concerning eschatology and supernatural phenomena. The journey of this text through history has been labyrinthine and fraught with controversy. While early Christian luminaries acknowledged its existence and occasionally quoted from it, its gradual eclipse from canonical status paralleled the standardization of religious texts. In Jewish circles, acceptance was even scarcer, with many dismissing it outright due to its non-canonical nature. Nonetheless, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church safeguarded the Book of Enoch as a sacred scripture, esteeming it as a reservoir of spiritual insight. This decision has imbued it with a distinctive role in Ethiopian Christian identity, setting it apart from other Christian denominations. Scholars have engaged in protracted debates over the book's origins and its significance within ancient religious contexts. Some propose its genesis as early as the 3rd century BCE, while others advocate for a later composition, possibly in the 1st century CE. The unearthing of several copies of the book among the Dead Sea Scrolls during the mid-20th century provided invaluable clues regarding its history and transmission. These ancient manuscripts, dating from the 2nd century BCE to the 1st century CE, evidence the Book of Enoch's circulation and reverence within certain Jewish communities of antiquity. The text itself manifests in numerous versions and languages, attesting to its wide dissemination and adaptation over epochs. This plurality presents challenges for scholars endeavoring to reconstruct its original form and elucidate its evolutionary trajectory. Despite its marginalization in mainstream religious circles, the Book of Enoch continues to captivate and intrigue. Its meditations on divine judgment, angelic intervention, and humanity's destiny echo perennial inquiries into the essence of existence and the meaning of life. The saga of the Watchers constitutes a gripping narrative within the Book of Enoch, depicting celestial beings lured to earth by mortal allure. These angelic transgressors breached divine bounds, forging unions with humans and sowing chaos through their progeny, the giants. The cataclysmic deluge, according to Enoch's account, served as divine purgation, cleansing the world of its iniquity. Another segment, the Book of Parables, plunges readers into visions of celestial realms, cloaked in cryptic symbols and foretelling eschatological reckonings. Enoch's prophetic utterances forebode a climactic confrontation between good and evil, wherein righteousness prevails over depravity. Enoch's celestial odyssey persists in the astronomical book, where he ascends to unravel the cosmic choreography of sun, moon, and stars. Amidst these ethereal realms, Enoch elucidates the intricate harmonies of the universe, unraveling its mysteries. The Book of Enoch sketches a vivid tableau of the divine and terrestrial interplay. Through Enoch's revelations, readers are thrust into the cosmic struggle between light and darkness, with celestial actors. Enoch's celestial sojourns illuminate the intricacies of divine governance and the peril of divine rebellion. His encounters serve as moral parables, cautioning against hubris and advocating for righteousness. The astronomical book illuminates ancient cosmological perspectives, wherein celestial movements mirror divine intent. Enoch's celestial journey underscores humanity's place within the cosmic order. Within the Book of Dreams, prophetic visions unfurl like blossoming petals, disclosing the destiny of Israel. Each vision, pregnant with significance, navigates the turbulent currents of history. Enoch's epistolary counsel imparts timeless wisdom, urging subsequent generations to pursue righteousness. His admonitions serve as beacons in the tempestuous sea of life, guiding towards spiritual enlightenment. The Book of Enoch's Genesis, shrouded in antiquity, spanning centuries and linguistic frontiers. From Aramaic origins to Greek translations, its journey culminated in the Ethiopic script. Next, we'll find out about the Tower of Babel's link to the real-world ziggurat of Etemenanke. Chapter 4. Tower of Babel, the Tale of Lost Unity. The story of the Tower of Babel, written in Genesis 11:1-9, tells of ancient times when everyone spoke the same language and lived together. They traveled to the plains of Shinar, where they wanted to build a big city with a tall tower. This tower was meant to be a symbol of their unity and strength as a community. They hoped it would show off their accomplishments and make them famous. But things didn't go as planned. God, watching from above, saw more than just their building project. He saw their pride and arrogance. So he decided to interfere by mixing up their language. Suddenly, they couldn't understand each other, causing confusion and stopping their work. Without being able to talk to each other, they scattered all over the earth, forming different nations and speaking different languages. This story is often thought to explain why there are so many languages and why people live in different parts of the world. It shows what can happen when people are too proud and don't listen to God. In studies of history and archaeology, experts have found connections between the Tower of Babel story and real buildings. One of these is the Ziggurat of Etemenanke in Babylon. This ziggurat was a huge temple dedicated to the god Marduk. It was built in the middle of Babylon, near the Euphrates River, and was used for religious ceremonies. The Ziggurat of Etemenanke was an impressive building made of stacked platforms, reaching over 300 feet tall. At the top was a shrine where people gave offerings to the gods. It was decorated with colorful bricks and carvings, showing how powerful Babylon was. Building the Ziggurat of Etemenanke took a lot of work and materials. They used bricks made of mud and mortar to hold them together. The design was supposed to look like a mountain reaching up to the sky, connecting heaven and earth. The Ziggurat of Etemenanke was important in Babylon's religious life. It showed the city's power and wealth. People believed it was where the gods came down to meet humans. It was also part of Babylon's creation story, where the god Marduk fought a monster and made the world. The ziggurat wasn't just a religious building, though. It also showed the king's power. The king was like a god on earth, and he had to take care of the ziggurat to keep the gods happy and the city safe. Even though it was once grand, the Ziggurat of Etemenanke fell apart over time. Today, all that's left are ruins, but it still reminds us of the story of the Tower of Babel and the power of religion and building. The connection between the Tower of Babel story and the Ziggurat of Etemenanke shows how people have always wanted to build big things and worship gods. It's a reminder of how we look for greatness and meaning in our world. The Ziggurat of Etemenanke is a sign of how smart and ambitious people can be, and how they want to connect with the gods. It shows us how important religion was in ancient times, and how it still shapes our world today. In short, the Ziggurat of Etemenanke in Babylon is a real-life example of the Tower of Babel story. It's a big building that people made to show off their power and religion. It reminds us that people have always wanted to be great and connect with the gods. In Revelation 12, a big fight goes down between good and bad, showing us that even angels have to deal with right and wrong. Chapter 5. The Battle of Good versus Evil. The battle in heaven detailed in Revelation 12. 7. 9 is a deep cosmic clash between good and evil. This story isn't just about a fight. It's about the ongoing struggle between what's right and what's wrong, shown through Michael, a powerful archangel, and the dragon. In this battle, Michael leads a group of angels against the dragon and his rebel angels. It's not a normal fight. It's more about what these beings represent spiritually. Ultimately, the dragon and his followers are defeated and thrown out of heaven. This loss is important because it shows that Satan can't beat God's authority or mess up what God has made. Let's look at the symbols in the story. The dragon, also known as Satan or the devil, is a symbol of evil and trickery. Michael, whose name means "who is like God," stands for fairness and protecting what's right. What's the bigger picture? This story isn't just a one-time event. It's part of a bigger story in the Bible about Satan trying to mess up God's plan. It reminds us that even though evil tries to win, it won't in the end. Was Job's suffering justified? Dive into the debate, like if you found this thought-provoking. Leave your comments below and don't forget to subscribe for more.